How's your mental shelf space? And what are you putting on it? I want to talk to you about the kind of things you're filling up your mental shelf with. There's only so much room on there, and you're in charge of what you keep on it, good or bad. Kind of only makes sense to put good stuff on your mental shelf, doesn't it? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Scott. Good to have you here. Let me start by saying we're all going to make it. You got this. Welcome to the Eagle Trail. Thought it'd be nice to come out here today and hike the Eagle Trail. When I heard about it, I thought maybe I'd get a chance to see an eagle, but it's actually named after the Boy Scouts working on their eagle project. So shout out Troop 197 and the boys that cleared this trail out and built it. Thanks, fellas. Yeah, so I want us to start thinking about our brains and our minds and our psyche as a shelf in your house. And you've only got so much room. I just recently went through an exercise in clearing out the shelves on the bookcases that sit behind me when I'm doing my live streams. By the way, if this kind of stuff appeals to you, we do a live stream every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time. This little community, we get together, tell stories, and encourage each other. You are welcome. I'd love to have you. I think you might enjoy it. But that little shelf area, the bookshelves behind me, were kind of cluttered. So I cleared them out. Some stuff ended up going in the trash. Some stuff I had to find another spot for because there's only so much room on the shelves behind me. And I had to decide what stays and what goes. And in the case of the live streams, that's going to be my backdrop, right? So I need to make sure that everything sitting behind me belongs there. I'm not 100% positive I'm done. There may be some things in there that I'm holding on to out of either tradition or it's just always been there and I don't realize it has no place there. By the way, I'm walking through what's called a slough, which is a low-lying watery area, and I guess the scouts built up this trail mound to walk on that's maybe 2-3 feet higher than the surrounding slough. So there's a watery, swampy area on both sides of me. Thank goodness we got the thermocell cranking so that the mosquitoes will leave me alone. And this is a massive alligator habitat. So these waters are probably infested with alligators. They are in the don't bother them, they won't bother you department. So we'll be leaving the alligators alone. If we see any, I'll show you some. I'll film one if I see it. But I had to make some decisions about what to keep on that shelf, and that's kind of how it is with our mind. Our thoughts, our fears, our hopes, our dreams, our mental habits, those are all sitting on our mental shelf, and they're all taking up space. And we have to decide what stays and what goes. Man, you know, you get out here in nature, and nature just, all it asks is for you to show up. You don't have to do anything special. You don't have to come out and do a project. You don't have to come out and reclaim some land or do some project. I mean, if I see a piece of trash, I'm going to pick it up and carry it out. But that's not, you know, it's not the project I came here with. By the way, if my eyes keep darting left and right, it's just because, you know, there's wild animals out here. So I'm trying to keep alert, stay in condition yellow. There's wild boar out here, which can be dangerous. There are coyotes. There are, of course, alligators. Other things I don't really have any worry about, like bobcats and wild birds and stuff. Don't care about that, but still, I'd like to see them. There's rabbits. So I'd like to see them. So you'll see me looking kind of distractedly. If I don't have eye contact with you the entire time, I apologize. So you might be thinking to yourself, Scotty, I can't control my thoughts. I can't control what I think about. How do I remove something from my mental shelf? I'm not in charge of what I'm thinking. My brain does it. Well, the truth is you are in charge of that. You can control your thoughts. You know, if you're a religious person, the Bible says take captive every thought. And that means you take a hold of what your mind is focused on. Boy, that's pretty. Let me show you that. Let me turn you around. Look at this pretty little sunlit, sun-dappled clearing area. The water over there is probably 2 or 3 feet deep. So we will not be taking a little walk out into the into the water off the trail. The sign clearly says stay on the trail, so we will be staying on the trail. If you're not a religious person, you can still take captive every thought. You are in charge of what you think about. This is neat. Hopefully this little pier dock here is still in good enough shape. Water feels soft. The wood feels soft and mushy. The water down there is stained kind of a brown color, almost making a T from the plant life out there. This is a cypress mound feature. When you see these groves of trees, they're growing on a slight elevation of earth and mound, which, you know, over the couple thousand years are really just a collected and compacted biological matter of the trees themselves. Trees start to die, then they start to build up a compacted biological area, and then they grow and grow, and it becomes more so sort of building up on itself. It's very pretty out here, and it smells fantastic out here. Every time I come out here, I tell you, boy, it'd be nice if you could smell what I smell. Little picnic table area here. All these pretty cattail reeds type things standing up out of the water here. It is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The gators are probably all staying cool underwater, hiding. But I like this trail. This Eagle Trail is nice. So how can you control what you think? How can you control what's on your mental shelf and clear off to make space for good thoughts? Easy. Whenever you're having a negative thought and you're thinking, boy, what's the worst that could happen? Stop it. Just stop it. Tell that thought, get out of here. I'm not thinking about you. You have to mentally make a choice to think about good thinking. You have to think about good thoughts. You have to make a mental decision and active choice. I'm going to have good thoughts. And then when you find yourself thinking about negativity and negative thoughts, chase it out. Lizard, lizard, lizard. Some people designate a good thought that they're going to intentionally think about whenever a negative thought comes up. They'll say, whenever there's a bad thought, I'm going to think about Christmas, or I'm going to think about, name the positive thing, however you want. Now there's a bit of a damp spot here in the path. This might be as far as I can get because we've had plenty of rain lately, and I am not about jumping in a big old watery spot here. I don't know if I could make that jump over. There is a little, bridge almost of these palm fronds that people have thrown down. Let's see how this looks. I guess snakes are another thing I could be keeping an eye out for. I don't think about snakes too often. Yeah, there's a little dry step around over here. There we go. So if you find yourself having a negative thought, I want you to think, I'm gonna take that off of my mental shelf. I don't have room for that. I don't have space for that kind of stuff in my life. I'm not gonna have it. You say to that negative thought, I don't have room for you in my life, in my mind, on my mental shelf. I don't have room for you. I don't have time for you. I don't have patience for you. And fill it with a positive thought. Say to yourself, today's gonna be a good day. Or, boy, I had a rough day at work today, but I'm home now and things are gonna be better. Or, had a rough day at work yesterday, but I'm sure today is gonna be better. Or, boy, I'm really stressed out. I must have some extra energy. Maybe I'll go walk that off, or ride my bike, or do some push-ups. One thing's interesting is I see a distinct lack of spider webs out here. And I'm wondering if that's because we're into October now, and near the end of October, really, and years winding down. So I wonder if the cooler weather is the cause for the lack of spider webs. Normally I'm walking into spider webs left and right when I'm out on trails like this, getting a mouthful of spider webs. That's always fun. Stupid orb weavers out. There's some burrows. I'm wondering if there's little gopher tortoises or something out here. Those are all over the place in Florida, and they're, you know, a protected, endangered little turtle. Really cute. There's some sign of deer or some other animal with the big turds. Maybe wild boar, deer, bobcat, don't know. I'm not good at recognizing different kinds of animal poops. I guess one thing I want to remind you as well is if you're feeling down, you're feeling bummed out, depressed, low energy, sometimes it's helpful to remember that you're not alone. You're part of a community of people who are finding peace in the green spaces in nature. And you might be walking through a trail like I am right now, all by myself, all alone. And yet I still feel like I'm going on a walk alone with a bunch of people, because I'm part of a community of like-minded folks who have learned to find a peaceful reset, a mental reset out in spaces like this. I'll show you what I'm looking at over there. Isn't that neat? Isn't that pretty? And then trail up ahead, carpeted with pine needles, trail behind, shaded and carpeted with pine needles. It's pretty nice. This is a good place. I like the Eagle Trail. There's another trail over on the other side of the parking lot. There is a nice little parking lot here. There are public restrooms. Our friend Lori Soul Circle, who shows up for our live streams as part of our little community, she pointed out how important it is to know if there's public restrooms at a park or a nature area or something. So this one does have very nice public restrooms. There's a little parking lot, place to park, and then two trails to hike off into. One of them is this Eagle Trail, and the other one was Hog Hammock Trail, maybe is what it was called. I can't remember. I forget. Well, this little area up here is, let me turn you around, is got a little wooden boardwalk area to walk across, which tells me that we're getting into some more watery areas, and they decided that this is a place that's getting all splashy and wet. But now look at this. This is the end of the trail for us, because there's no progressing beyond this. This water is way too far to jump over. Little tadpoles moving around inside that creek, but that's some moving water. This water's slowly flowing. This water is slowly flowing. I can see it from left to right. And these sloughs, these low-lying slough areas, is just a gigantic connection of the Everglades, which itself is a humongous 100-mile wide river of grass. 100 miles wide and 2 inches deep, right? Well, I can't get past that little blocked off trail there without walking, sloshing through the water. And I do have waterproof hiking boots, but just because the hiking boots are waterproof doesn't mean that the socks are and the pants are. Yeah, so I'm going to turn it around, which is fine. We'll have to come back when it's a little drier, and then maybe we can do the rest of this trail and see how far it actually goes and where that would have led to. But that's okay. We'll just do 180, turn around, and the nice thing is, I know with that watery slosh there, very low chance of anybody walking up behind me, which You know, I'm always a little self-conscious about walking around with the camera on a selfie stick talking to you folks. So it's nice knowing that it's a dead end behind me. The chances of somebody walking up behind me is very, very small. It's funny, I say there's a dead end behind me and then I hear something behind me, think people are walking up behind me. They're not. Have to come back another time maybe and try out that other hog hammock, hog's breath, hog's mead. I can't remember what the name of that other trail is. All right, well, I hope I see some of you checking in on a live stream. If you do, drop a note in the comments of the live stream and drop in and say, hey, I saw one of your videos and thought I'd drop in on a live stream Wednesday night, 8 p.m. right here at this same YouTube channel. We have a good time. I'm telling you, I think you'd like it. I guess last but not least, I would like to hear from you in the comments down below what you think about this mental shelf space idea. Do you think it's going to be too difficult to intentionally clear off and keep your mental shelf full of positive stuff and clear off the negative stuff? Do you think it's going to be something you can do? Is it going to be easy? Difficult? I hope some of you will say it's possible and something that you're going to try. Remember, we're not trying to think negative. So if you say, Scott, that's impossible, I'll just say you're being negative. And that's a thought you need to clear off your shelf. See how that works? If you say you can't do it, I'll say you can't do it because you say you can't do it. But if you say you can do it, now you're being positive and you're doing it. I don't know if you're buying any of that. Works for me. As my buddy John Ruddy out there always says in the comments, you got to keep a positive mental attitude. Thanks, John. Very good reminder. How's it going?
Okay, good. What are you?
Having a good day?
Yes, very nice.
It's very nice out. Not so hot now. That guy's got the right idea. All right, folks. Like I said, thanks for coming along on the hike. I will see you in the next video. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And don't forget, we're all gonna make it. And most of all, you got this. I know you do. Remember what I told you, whenever somebody sets the camera down and walks past it, they got to come back and get it. Never forget.